Hey everyone, I just want to talk about my thoughts on Granblue Fantasy Relink so far. I'm going to be kind of getting into some combat stuff, a little bit of the characters, and just how you upgrade them, how I feel about that. Then I'm going to kind of chime in at the end of kind of what I was hoping a little bit more for. So let's start with the combat. Honestly, it's been a while since I've kind of had this smooth and a nice of a flow combat. It just everything from the combos to the finishers to the charge attacks to adding skills in between each one, just kind of figuring out some cool combinations you can do with them, and to even like all the link attacks and your skybound attacks as well. I like it's a fun take of what you can kind of mix together, and it kind of shows a little bit. It kind of feels like Granblue franchise was mainly a fighting game, so it kind of puts a little bit those elements in there. I think just kind of combinations you can do with each character that can kind of make a lot of battles unique, or even that character unique, and it's fun. I enjoy it a lot. Now, the boss fights in the game as well, even though you're not doing story, most of the bosses feel like you're kind of in a story mission. There's like a big progression through them all, and I enjoyed that. Just how the developers like made that kind of pace throughout a whole fight. Is towards the characters, them talking about whatever. They can have a little banter with each other, and that's the relationship between them. Or they can say something's awesome, something's cool, and just they react to the fight, which I think takes you in more. So now I'm going to kind of get into the upgrading and your character progression. So let's get into character progression and just how do you make your character stronger. Start off with masteries. Each character has an offensive, defensive, and you'll have a weapon collection mastery. Each character will have a total of 6 weapons, and each weapon is slightly different, but it's depending on your playstyle or what build you kind of want to go to. So to kind of break down some of them, one weapon is a attack focused weapon, the other one is a crit damage and crit rate focused weapon. There's another one that's a stun power, and there's also an HP one as well. Now, not only there's weapons and masteries to kind of boost up your characters, there's also sigils. Sigils are basically just added stats towards your characters. So there's, just flat out crit rate, there's crit damage, there's do more damage in a combo if you make it in time to constantly boost your damage, just whatever you're kind of looking for, more skill damage, faster charge rates, more charge rates, more crit strike on just a charge attack. It focuses on everything, and not only just offensive stats, it also gives defensive stats. Variety of how low your HP will give you more defense, or a higher HP, so on and so forth. There's also faster cooldowns, life steal, and then each character has their own personal sigil, which I think is really cool. Now, kind of going back to weapons and stuff like that, you also have something called right stones. Right stones go inside your weapon as just an added boost of stats. So depending on how lucky you get, they'll drop kind of like a sigil, but not like a weapon. They're just little stones you put in your weapon that'll also give you more stats. So you want a little bit more crit rate? You gotta go and find one that gives you crit rate. You want a little bit more max HP? You can find one and put them in with max HP. The best part about them is usually they come in with around 3 stats, all kind of split up nicely. Usually one's higher than all the other, kind of goes down a little bit, but I've seen a couple even ones. Max of 3 stats, but they're fun to put in your weapon to add to your build. Now, last but not least, we have Mirage munitions. these are just a fun little couple of items you throw into your weapon. You can only get a max of 99 per weapon, but I don't know. It's a fun little plus 99 beside the name of your weapon. And all they do really is just add a little bit more HP and attack, but it just makes you stronger in the end. And I think that's a really cool way of just kind of adding a little cherry on top, you know? It's like, here you go. You won't probably need this. It doesn't do much, but it's still fun. Now, I'm going to kind of get into characters just a little bit. I think a lot of them actually are pretty cool. Like, they're very stylish. They have their own personality. And their personalities, when they clash between each other in a fight or just in general, I think is very, I will say, unique to most games I've played. I haven't really seen much or anything like it. It's, to me, a little bit refreshing. Like I'm saying before, it's just I've been thoroughly enjoying it. So I think that's really cool. But for the most part, is most of the characters, there's a nice wide variety of them. So you can kind of pick and choose to whatever kind of fits, let's say, your personality or your play style, or maybe want a little bit of an alter ego and you just want to choose this. A lot of them just kind of feels and fits in the right way, whatever you choose, which I think is very nice. It's a cool kind of way to think about who you're going to choose, instead of just thinking of a background. It's like, it's just a different way. And I think that's very refreshing for a game, not only just like this, but just for most games in general, I think. So now I'm going to talk about what I feel like they could improve and just some things that I was hoping that they could do a little bit more, and even just things that I feel like they should add that, in my opinion, would be nice, So let's start with the bosses. My biggest annoyance is kind of progressing through all the quests throughout the game and leveling your character up. It's a lot of the same boss. Like, there's not much variety. I know the game just came out, but I was kind of hoping for a little bit more through the beginning. Like, it kind of sucks when you're just kind of going through and like, oh, you're fighting a golem, and you're like, the first time you see it, and then all of a sudden, oh, you're finding another golem. It's just got more attack and more HP, and it's instead of the 1 2 3 slam and stop, it's a 1 2 3 stop for a little bit, and then here's a 4 slam. Not only that, but yeah, I'm gonna get into it just about the dragons. It's great fighting a dragon, and they look amazing, by the way, but it's not really much of a difference if I'm going from fighting a fire dragon to an ice dragon. The only difference is the animation. There's nothing to it that's got the same motion, it's got the same feel. It just kind of sucks, it's not really much of a difference. It's just some style of element that changes. Now, kind of getting on from that stuff, kind of getting up and up and up through the quests, and then you get the repeats of bosses. And the only really difference is, not even much of a difference, is that their overdrive animation attack changes. Like, it just gets a little bit more intense. Also, like I've said before, they just have more HP, they do more damage, they're a little bit more aggressive, but other than that, some of the stage changes a little bit. It's not really much to the fights later on. They're not getting more intense by any means. They're just okay. They're adding in maybe a moveset or maybe a swipe, but it's all the same battle. You're just seeing higher numbers, and that's about it. It's kind of continuing on to the boss thing. I was really hoping more for the ending to be the ending quest to be not so much of a dog pile of bosses. I was hoping for, I don't know, something a little bit different. I guess when it comes down to it, I was just wishing that there were just more bosses in general. Not like, getting to kind of the top end quests and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm fighting 2 griffins and something else now. I'm fighting 2 dragons. It's a little tedious. It's not, to me, that's not more difficult. It's just you're adding more of an annoyance. And eventually you do get through it, but you don't feel like it was fun. It's just hectic and time consuming. Now, with everything that's been said, what I'm hoping for from Granblue Fantasy Relink is that the developers continue to add things. Maybe another island or something like that down the way. Not right away. The game just came out. You gotta let everything settle in. But having that, new bosses, which increase the variety. I'm sure that there will be added bosses and I'm sure characters, because I've done a little bit of looking up and this is definitely not the full roster of characters. So even seeing some new friendly characters, or even, I don't know, throwing some villains in there, that would be cool. Just having more variety of things to play to kind of keep it fresh and, not to all of a sudden get this strike of boredom because, all the characters are the same. Just throwing in other things like that would be awesome. I really hope they do that. I know it's just kind of stretching on a bit, but some events would be kind of cool. Even if they don't, it's just a suggestion. So they can kind of do with it as they please. That last one is just, it's a fun one for me. But that's pretty much all I have to say right now. I'm going to continue playing it like I have, just like absolute fucking crazy. So I would just like to say thank you so much for listening to me rant and talking poorly. And just listening to my thoughts on the game so far. Like I said, I'm super enjoying it, so I'm going to continue to play it. But I just thought I would put this video out to just kind of share my thoughts. And also, I want to know what you think, I want to hear from you guys. So leave a comment down below, just anything you think that they can improve on, or what you like about the game so far and you're playing it. I don't know, even who's your favorite character? Who's your favorite guy to fight? I think it's all really cool. So let me know down below. But if you like the video, please, it would mean a whole lot to me if you shoot a like. I'd love that. For now, that's the end of this video. Hopefully do a lot more like these. So I'd just like to say thank you and have a good night. I'll see y'all soon.